slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. Get your lick back. If a nigga owe you something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your issue splat. Stop letting this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. I feel like I'm JX.
J-Way.
I'm a perfectionist. Adderall got me restless.
I'm gone.
Run with a wild crew, they get reckless. Young boy, come up off that neck.
Give me
Into
that.
the trends. See a lead, be the band.
Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Post Game Podcast. We got a bit of breaking news out of Detroit. The Pistons have decided to part ways with Paul Reed, the 6'9" forward, who we originally signed in the offseason to a 2-year deal. He was believed to be a player that could come in and possibly compete for some minutes in the front court. Going into the year, it was kind of uncertain about what his role would be. Obviously, we already have Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart manning the inside. Obviously, that we drafted Bobby Clinton as well, who's obviously been out for the last couple months with a calf injury that's been ailing him. And I believe the fact that he is about to come back from that injury is part of the reason why they have chosen to move on from Paul Reed. Still a little odd. I don't think that I necessarily thought that would happen, but yeah, I mean, he hasn't got a lot of playing time this year. He's only averaging, I think, about 11 minutes a game. Yeah, 10 minutes per game. So he was certainly a guy that was on the outside looking in as far as the rotation is concerned. Isaiah Stewart has taken over the backup center and first big man off the bench role. And Paul Reed definitely had a lot of DNPs this year. He was, looked to be a guy that would be a rim protector. And, we've seen a heavy dosage of Jalen Duren. And definitely a good amount of Isaiah Stewart, and there just didn't seem to be minutes available for Paul Reed. Obviously, Asar Thompson is now cleared for action, and Bobby Clinton is about to return. So I think it made things a lot more bleak. I mean, I definitely talked about the fact that we were going to need to make some space because we have a roster full of guys that can get some minutes, but there's just not enough minutes to go around when you got all these role players, and we need a star. So hopefully, and what I'm thinking is that this mysterious move is the first to come before we make some trades. We're going to cut some salary. He had a 2-year deal, and both years were not fully guaranteed beyond January 10th, I believe. After January 10th, the entire contract was guaranteed. So I think he only earned about $2 million with the Pistons before we cut him, but he was due to make up to $8 million per year. This may have been a case where they just decided to, cut ties so that he could seek services elsewhere because he was sitting on the bench quite a bit. As far as his stats, he played 10 minutes per game over 12 games, and he averaged 5 points, 2 rebounds, and a half a block. He shot 53% from the field and 36% from the 3-point line. So not bad numbers. Granted, in a small sample size, he did shoot pretty well from the outside, but he just wasn't getting a lot of playing time. He was a guy that, in limited time, I think he played pretty solid defense. I kind of thought he was a little bit taller, but he's only 6'9", so he really didn't seem all that effective going up against those big, tall centers in Boston. And I feel like that was his last ditch effort because Duren didn't play yesterday, which I don't want to speculate too much into it, but I don't know. There might be something to the fact that Duren didn't play the last game. Obviously, we are now upon the deadline where players that were signed in the offseason can now be traded. We saw Thomas Bryant get traded to the Indiana Pacers, and which is a team that needed a center. And it appears that there was no opportunity for us to make a move. Because essentially, before you waive a player, you weigh your options out and see if you can trade them. And obviously the eligibility to trade players is coming up. It is coming up this weekend, so there's a chance that we did try to throw his name out there as a trade candidate, and there may not have been. It may have been more lucrative to cut our losses before January 10th as opposed to trading them. So, like I said, we got some Bobby Clemens coming back soon, so we're gonna have to make some opportunities to see what we can get in him. And Paul Reed just didn't essentially. I guess he didn't fit what JB Bickerstaff was looking for at his position. So I think he will likely go somewhere else and get at least some type of opportunity to play, but it will not be with the Detroit Pistons. But yeah, that pretty much covers it. Like I said, there might be a chance that some players are on the move. We definitely just as far as our cap, as far as our salary cap is concerned, we're saving some money, and there may be more moves to be done. In the event that we need to, that we're going to bring on some more salary. So stay tuned because but obviously the trade deadline it's 2 months away. So we got some time before the actual deadline. But like I said, the opportunity to start trading guys that you signed this summer is upon us this weekend. So we may be seeing some changes sooner than later. And Duran didn't play yesterday, or didn't play the last game, which gave Paul Reed an opportunity to get some playing time, but the end result is Paul Reed being waived. Stay tuned. If there's any and every move that the Pistons decide to make down in the next few months, we will be covering on YouTube at Bleachers to Speakers and post game podcasts on all audio aggregators. I'm out.